Fourth one we have is Rishabh Nahar. He is an accomplished quant fund manager with over 8 years of experience in the equity markets. Since 2016, he has been managing funds with a data-driven approach, focusing on research and analytics alongside his team of quant professionals. Rishabh manages capital for prominent family offices in Mumbai, delivering consistent returns. His deep commitment to research and innovation drives his strategy for optimizing investment performance. Currently, Rishabh manages 250 plus crores in AUM. Welcome all of you.
So we started back in 2016, as a family office, and prior to that I was working as a research analyst, so doing like traditional, going to the factory, meeting the management and understanding the business maybe from the promoter side. And so the idea when we started back in 2016 was just grow family capital at in a robust manner. There was no target, there was no beating the benchmark kind of a thing, right? Now the problem that we were facing when we were doing fundamental analysis was that the subjectivity, the emotion involved, so many decisions to be made on a day-to-day basis. And back in 2016, quant was pretty new, right? So I learned how to code with my partner, and we started running like simple backtests, like even single factor models were doing like 25-30% kind of returns, and those are surprising. So that's how we started. And so today we've come to multiple multi-factor models, and even moving to the quantum mental space, because what we've realized is that data doesn't capture absolutely everything. That day Rajesh was also on the call, and he was pretty much on the fundamental side, and I'm with him on that side. So there are certain businesses that would not show up in a quant model, right? Like for example, if someone's done some capex, spent like 500 crores, it doesn't show up on the P&L or on the balance sheet, so would not be captured and would require a human lens as of today at least, right? And as data evolves, we'll see how that moves. So today we're running both a multi-factor or a single factor model as well as a quantum mental approach. And yeah,
I think as an industry also, we are seeing more and more people, moving from fundamental to some kind of systematic way of investing. Now, what do you think? Has access to data gone up? The kind of information that you could access earlier to now, has that changed? Do you think removing emotions from your decision making, has that helped? And is it helping you perform better compared to what you could do earlier?
I think definitely removing the emotion aspect of like he said, right, like the greats of the game can do it without having a structure. It's pretty much a mental framework. But for people like us, it's we probably need a structure, we need a written rule book. I think one more thing I would like to add to this is that so there are three things, right? Like, what do you want to buy, when do you want to buy it, and how much do you want to buy? I think most of the quant strategies or most of the backtesting that you do, if you're doing a 30 plus stock portfolio, right, you can run a quant strategy and perform well. But the moment you want to increase position size, right, you want conviction, like you say, like a Warren Buffett has a 10 stock portfolio, it becomes harder and harder if you're not getting into the depths of the business, the management, what is the promoter looking at, right? So that distinction in terms of position sizing is where, somewhere like, I think that, a 30-40 stock portfolio quant approach would hands down, do very well. But if you would move to a 10 stock portfolio, you have the risk of, and if you're not relying on any sort of subjectivity or meeting the management, then you can be very right or you can be, terribly wrong. So I think that distinction in terms of position sizing is, at least we've not come across models wherein you would say I can take a 20% position size just based on quantitative data.
Interesting, yeah. So you're saying basically diversifying away in a portfolio, especially with a quant portfolio, helps.
Yeah,
and
so
if
you're going to a 30-40 stock portfolio, then I think quant is an approach. But if you want to generate like crazy alpha, right? If you want to, and that will come through larger positions, right? So if you want to have a 8, 10, 15% kind of position size in your portfolio today, probably data is a problem, or there aren't any models that are that can give you that kind of conviction that okay, I can just solely rely on the data and make this.
Yeah, interesting. I think let me just bring out the last topic, which we can't leave the panel without, is AI ML, and that's something which has gained prominence over the last few years, and a lot of people are saying that ultimately at some point of time machines will run strategies and funds, and maybe all of us might just become obsolete here. So any views, can AI take over, or machine learning can take over some of our jobs? Can they start managing strategies? Can machines do some of these things? We know investing is not pure science, so can AI even be incorporated into investing?
Yeah, so basically I'll break this AI and ML into two parts. So I think ML and technology or faster computing, I think will change. It will not take our jobs away, thankfully, because that helps you process data, which is what I said earlier. Like Quant helps you process large amounts of data and make sense for that. So I think there is no way out of ML, and pretty excited about it. AI, I'm a little circumspect right now, is because for AI to perform my job, you need, most of the AI is built around LLMs, pictures, which is in the public domain, and then it tries to build intelligence, but eventually you need to provide it with data, right? So I think that AI is still some way away, in revolutionizing what we do, but ML is something which I think is going to make things much more efficient going forward.
Nice. Rishabh?
I think I'm on the same page with what Rajesh and Vineet said. So I think it's it's more of a tool, and also it's the kind of data set that you're using. So definitely, back in say 2016, if you're making an Excel model versus today, if you're using a Python script, like say, if Rajesh said that he did some backtesting using an Excel sheet, but that same thing could be done using a Python script, using a machine learning model, and it could be done probably in 5 minutes, in 10 minutes. So time saving. Also, the depth of the analysis could be a lot more, and I think this will keep evolving. But there needs to be someone who's taking that call, right? Like what kind of data do you want to feed? How do you want to clean the data? So this will evolve, but I'm not sure if you'll be fully replaced.
So now that we all know we factor in a lot of factors in our backtest, Python has reached to everyone's offices nowadays. So it's very easy to run a optimization of, let's say, 20 to 30 factors, get the perfect measure of what factors should be included. So my question is, among all the factors, how do you decide how do you differentiate between correlation and causation? There could be many factors correlating to, let's say, EPS growth or returns that are factoring in. But that does not mean that is the cause that is, getting the returns out. So how do you differentiate between the two, that is correlation and causation?
I think that will depend on your ability to backtest, and like the way you're segregating data, looking at in sample, out of sample. So like he rightly said, right, most models today or most ones are running are pretty much correlation driven, that this has worked in the past and it will continue working. But coming down to causation, so if you want to run a robust model, I think causation is the key. I don't think there's it's not a short or brief answer, so I guess it's a longer conversation. But causation is, I think it's a good point that he brought up. And causation is, I think what we should be looking for, because that will, yeah.
I'll just add one more thing, at least our approach has been, because there can be so many, they call it factor zoo, right? Is to go for a factor when there is also economic rationale for that factor. So, whether it is human behavior, whether it is, you need to be rewarded for taking extra risk of, business cyclicality, or essentially you're getting a premium because of, your business is stronger. If there is a pattern which you observe, or a correlation which is also backed by something which fundamentally is a logical, or economically sound phenomenon, then that gives you more confidence to go forth, to incorporate that into your model.
I think some of these things may take longer. Maybe Rishabh can do a masterclass separately on this, but because this is a longer conversation, getting into what factors work, don't work, what kind of optimization can you do, a correlation. So, we can have a separate chat around this. And I don't think any one of them are going to give the secret sauce to you. So great. Thank you. Thank you so much.